What would you like to see if you were an investor in our company?
If I were an investor in your company, I would like to know if you would ever, totally burn my money, or if you already need to raise some more cash. So maybe that's an interesting topic. Are you going to raise a Series A, and if and when is that going to happen?
A company like ours is always funding or financing the hypergrowth is always a topic. Luckily, once you are scaling, multiple options come to the table. So in the early days, you can only either start with your own money or with money of people who are very close by. Once you scale, you can attract money from different sources. Obviously, we used the typical venture road where you start with business angels. But for example, we now also see already banks knocking on our door, asking whether they can work together with us on different kind of debt products. So we're keeping our options open to see what at the end of the day brings the company the furthest.
But of course, with your kind of un-Dutch-like nature in fundraising and the amount of cash already put into the company, which is not typically normal for a Dutch company in this phase, you would almost assume that international VCs are on the lookout for you. So are you in contact with them, or do you prefer them over Dutch investors?
There doesn't go 1 week or month go by that we don't talk to investors in general. We are at events where investors, especially the ones from the US you were referring to, are very aggressive when it comes to their outbound strategies. They're almost a sales company on their own. So,
yeah, really? Well, how does that, what do they do?
Well, I think they use the same kind of technologies you use to try to understand who is
who's behind
working
the company
with you on this interview. and they are doing the same when it comes to, it's all about traction, right? And there are simple ways to see whether a company has traction, whether it's on the number of people you attract, or the number of the amount of money you raise, the media exposure you get, or thought leadership being recognized in awards, or so yeah, we talk to them.
But probably your next round will be from the US, right? I mean, this is the most likely route to take.
No, I believe we're trying to keep the options open to see what is the best for the company. What I like in general is that the venture industry is also becoming very professional, and that you see in our domain, which is obviously SaaS, but also travel, there are a lot of good investors who bring the right knowledge to the table. Mm-hmm. And for us, it's all about scaling and scaling fast. And there are obviously funds who have seen this many times before. Mm-hmm. So, and where they are located, I think in a lot of countries also around us, there are a lot of good VCs. Mm. And obviously the density in the US is way higher than it is here.
Yeah. So what's your ambition? Where do you like to be in like 5 years? Would IPO, for instance, be a route you like to take?
Well, it's our aim to make this company big. And we do know that we are not in this for the short run. So yes, we have a 5-year scope, but most likely we can have this interview within 5 years, and most likely within 10 years.
Everything is different, yeah.
No, but within 10 years again. So, and I hope we're still sitting in the same chairs or in the same position. Yeah, but this is it's a fast industry, and it's a company which is really on a sweet spot in the market where there is a huge pain right now, and yeah, in order to make that big, everything is on the table. Yeah, and the ambitions are high. So.